Okay, so moving on to slide number 13, let's talk about variation form. So, variation form is a form in which some aspects of the music are altered, but the original form is still recognizable throughout. Okay? So, for an example of variation form, let's look at Emperor Quartet. So, this is a piece written for string quartet. So, string quartet is composed of two violinists, one violist, and one cellist. Um, I'm going to play the theme of Emperor Quartet. Okay, and as we'll see, the form of Emperor Quartet is going to be the theme followed by several reiterations of this theme that I'm about to play, but several variations on that theme. So let me play the theme to start off. Here we go. Okay, so that is the theme of the Emperor Quartet. And so when you watch this video of the Emperor Quartet, notice that the first thing you hear is the first violin playing the theme that I just played with a kind of simple chordal accompaniment by the other violinist, the violist, and the cellist. So then, after the violinist plays the theme, you'll see that, okay, then we're going to hear the theme again, but in a slightly different way. This time, we're going to hear it with played as kind of a duet between the two violins, but with kind of they're kind of embellishing on the melody and the theme a little bit. So it's a little bit different. So it's still recognizable, but it's a little bit different. Then, after they play that variation on the theme, we're going to hear another variation on the theme. But this time, the theme will be played by the cello, right? And then, after the cello plays the theme, we're going to hear the theme again, but in another slightly different way. This time, the theme will be played by the viola. And then, we're going to hear the theme again, and it returns back to the first violin, but this time it's a little bit different again. Okay? So check out the video, and the video is really well done. They really point out what I was just talking about as it's happening. So check that out for this form called variation. All right. So now let's move on to another kind of form called improvisation. So the thing about improvisation, though, we can find improvisation in other forms. Like we can find in perhaps like the guitar solo on something that was probably improvised or to some degree improvised. So we can have improvisation fit within the form, or improvisation can just be its own form. So improvisation refers to music that's created spontaneously during performance. And I'll give you an example right here. So I'll do a little improvisation. I'll kind of make up a little piece. I'll sort of use maybe the chords for something. So you'll have something that's kind of recognizable, but I'm not going to play it in strophic form. I'm just kind of going to make something up using these chords. I'm kind of improvising on these chords. So maybe a little more, not that much. Okay, so we'll go. Or F chord. Okay, so I just kind of made up something on the spot, right? I never played that before. I mean, I played something before, so I kind of know how it goes, and I know how the chords go, but I kind of did them in a new way that I never did before, all right? So that was an example of improvisation. So we find improvisation typical in jazz, right, and in rock music, but we also find it in lots of other music around the world. I wrote Indian classical music here on this slide number 14, but we hear it in lots more music than just those three. And this is an idea we're gonna return to again and again this semester. So you really get this idea of improvisation. So in improvisation, repetition, contrast, and variation all play a role. Right, when I was playing that little improvisation I just made up, right, what was repetition? Well, these chords I was repeating, right, I learned those before. But contrast, I played it in a way that I never played before, right? So there's kind of this idea of repetition and contrast and variation all occurring at the same time in that. So musicians typically organize their improvised melodies within a pre-established harmonic pattern, right? A kind of, or a time frame or a melodic outline, understood by all the performers. And that's, in that case with something, that's what I was doing, right? I took this pre-established tune and I just kind of improvised something on top of it, right? I just sort of took those chords and I did them in a new way that I just made up. For another example of improvisation, listen to So What. You can start about the 50-second mark. There's kind of a long introduction. This is a good example. You're going to see a lot of improvisation by jazz performers. This is a tune by Miles Davis, right? The great jazz trumpet player. All right. So now let's move on to our next slide. Okay, so another kind of form, right? Binary form. So binary form, another way to talk about binary form is two-part form, right? There's two parts. There is an A section and there's a B section. I'll play the melody for this one that we see on slide number 15 to illustrate here. Let's see what we have. All right, loading. Okay. So I'll play, here's the A, statement A, right? And then I'll let you know when I get to the statement B. So here's the first part of this binary form. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now the B section. Notice slightly different character. That's what makes it the B section. Okay, so that is binary form, right? I've got two contrasting sections, one called the A section, one called the B section. All right, so that's basically binary form. So know that. Now let's talk about the next form, ternary form, on slide number 16. So ternary form is a three-part form. So we can say it sort of has like an A section, a B section, and then a return to the A section. So Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, a really great example of ternary form. So here's the A section, right? We have okay, that's the A section. Now the B section, up above the world so high. So okay, that's the end of the B section, right? After like a diamond in the sky. Then we play the A section again. Okay, so one more time. A section. B section. Right, a little different. Then back to A section. What we started with. Okay, so that is ternary form, or three-part form. So binary, two-part, ternary, three-part. Okay.